Hello and welcome to the Philippines. We have a special video today and a special guest. We're going to talk about a guy who bought a condo here in the Philippines, and he's got a lot of information to give out. So first-hand experience. So you want to introduce yourself, Todd?
Hi, my name is Todd. I've been, I lived in the Philippines for about 5 years back in the early 80s. I always knew I was going to come back. A couple of years ago, I invested in an opportunity here. And again, I'm not into sales or anything like that, but I invested just for myself, looking forward to retirement, and made my payments. They built the place, and here I am. So overall, I think it's been a pretty good investment.
All right, and you were in the Navy, so you had visited the Philippines, basically Subic Bay area, a number of times.
Yeah, so I lived there, like I said, 5 years, and I got married, had family. All my kids are grown, great family, great kids. Now I'm by myself.
How did you choose Cebu City?
I chose it primarily because of the beach area, because I'm from the beach area. I grew up in Orange County, California, and getting later on in life, I figure, man, how am I going to get back to the beach area? I live closer to Wisconsin now, but I figured when I looked around, this seemed to be the best place, and this seems to be, for me, the better place, near the ocean.
Yeah, and we're in Mactan Newtown. We're in his unit in Mactan Newtown, Mactan Island, and very close to the international airport. And what was how did you find this place? How did you find the realtors, and what was the process?
That's it's kind of weird, and I'd talk a little bit about the communications part at this point that I wanted to talk about, because the only reason I wanted to do this video is because I see your channel, and I see a lot of people, expats like myself, that have all these uncertainties and want to get out there and do stuff, but there's so many different challenges. So basically what I did is I just started doing the search. And the good thing about, again, I'm not selling anything or care if anybody makes money out there or whatever, but the Mega World employees only sell Mega World properties. They're not regular realtors. They only deal with Mega World, so they have different levels. And finally, I didn't get too much feedback, but finally I got a guy from Manila that was platinum, so he was way up there in the corporation, and started talking to him. So again, that was a good person to get to, because he gave me a lot. He was very fair.
You paid for this over 2 years?
Yeah. So what it was is it was a pre-built. The way it works is, and I've seen some of your videos showing the different payment options. Cash is always king. They'll give you up to 20% right off the top for cash, and then they had a payment program to where you pay 48 post-dated checks, and then they cash them monthly. And once they finish the unit, then you go in there and have to pay the lion's share. And that's the trick, is a lot of people don't know that. There's two things with the post-dated checks. The first year is $150 a month. Then you have a 10% stipend, which is about, in my case, was $6,000, because I paid $4.5 million for this. So it was about $6,000. And then the second year it goes up to about $160, and then the same thing, 10%. Well, then they finish the unit. Well, then they want their money. So there's been people that have actually didn't understand that. They thought they would just continue paying the whole 48 months and then pay the final, and that's not the way it works. So in this unit here, according to my property manager, is that there's been 4 or 5 condos that they've paid 2 years and now don't have the funds to finish the the process. So you got to be really careful, make sure when you get involved with something that you're going to have the money at the end.
Understand the fine print. Yeah, I met a Filipino a while back, and she had paid a couple of years, and her property, essentially, she was fighting with the developer because she had to come up with a certain amount of money or she was going to lose the property. And I don't know, there again, the fine print, every developer probably has different terms, different schemes, that type of thing.
You know, and for me, what I did is I had to write 48 checks.
Okay.
And you know, when you write a check, you make a little error. You know, you write 2019. Oh, it's 20. You know, so there'll be a little scribble on the check. If they return those checks, you don't get the post-dated check discount anymore, which was, in my case, was $5,000. So they don't have to beg for their money. Here's their money right up front. They cash them as they go. So me mailing these checks in and not knowing that, they were sent back to me, a good portion of them, and I fixed them, and then it overlapped for 1 month. And then the lady sent me another package of 4 or 5 checks. And I fixed those, and I sent those back in. And it was kind of ironic because my bank actually called me. She says, "Are you writing that check?" Because I did my best printing it out without any hesitation to make even a hairline correction on it. But when we finally closed the deal in September, they brought that issue up. They said, "Oh no, you had some checks returned to you." But I talked to my realtor. You know, he's upper in the company, like I said, and we were able to fix that. So that would have cost me $5,000.
Oh wow!
Just because of an error.
Right.
On a check.
You know, I had my second condo I rented. The lady wrote me a check, and we had lunch together. She wrote me a check for my deposit back, and I was going to fold it and put it in my wallet. She said, no, don't fold the check. The bank won't take it if you fold the check.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So, yeah, it's a different world here.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I would caution everybody with the checks. You know, just be careful of, you know, how you write them out. And the other piece of that is don't just know your realtor, and that's what I did. Is I knew my realtor. He's far away from here. He's Manila. He's a very busy guy. But there's so many people in an industry like this that you have to deal with. And if you don't know them, then they're going to send you an email saying, "Let me further that question to somebody that can help you." That means that you're not going to get the answer.
Not very fast.
Not very
If
fast
ever.
at all.
If ever.
And that's the frustrating part. It's not like the U.S. where you write an email and you're expecting somebody to respond by tomorrow. But what I would do is, if I were to do it over again, is I would come here, I'd get with my realtor, and I'd say, "Hey, show me your admin, you know, people. Show me who's going to be in charge of my checks. Show me who's going to be, you know, in charge of engineering." Because you talk to these people, and it'd be better to have their their communication, you know, email right up front. Then you know who you're dealing with.
I have a friend who's trying to sell a resort, and he did the same thing. And he contacted somebody who I know, a realtor, and asked for an appraisal on the property. And this was probably 2 weeks ago. And you know, he's expecting some information within a couple of days. And 2 weeks later, you know, they request, "Can you send us additional information on your lease of the land?" 2 weeks, and then, "Why did it take so long?" "Oh, we're busy, sir. We're too busy." Well, said, when you're dealing with foreigners, if that sale is important to you, that customer is important to you, you know, maybe Filipino time works for Filipinos, but it probably doesn't work for foreigners. Although, if you're doing business here, sometimes you just have to put up with it. But what other, you had good experiences and some less than good experiences, and what was the whole process of, you signed papers, and how complicated was it?
Well, you know, I put it in my son's name as well, for the simple fact if something came about, that we'd have it in two people's name. But most of it was done by mail. It wasn't really that big of a deal. It was kind of time consuming. They require a lot of signatures, just pages of 7 signatures of you on this side and 7 signatures of him on that side, and then the final deed has both the signatures. And I would really strongly suggest that you do it by the book. They ask for a lot of signatures for a reason. I don't know if there's some investigation processes if something happened, or on my demise if they had to go back and look at something. But if you're signing papers in the Philippines and you got other people involved, do it the way they say to do it. Get the IDs correct and sign it the way the ID says.
And when they turned it over to you, part of the incentive was you got the furniture. They supplied all the furniture and the
Yeah, I got the
refrigerator.
Right, the refrigerator, the washing machine and dryer, which I still can't figure out.
Right.
Thing will dry for 45 minutes and still have wet clothes in there, so one day that thing might have to go. I got the bed, the TV, small TV, a couch, chair, this table. So all you really need is some dishes.
Okay. Were there any issues when you moved in? Did you have to call maintenance? You have like a 1-year warranty or something like that?
Yeah, it has a 1-year warranty. I haven't seen anything really wrong. So
one thing that I've noticed in some buildings, and maintenance has come in, is that because buildings tend to settle, depending upon, and you're right on the coast here, depending upon how far they went with their footings. They went 100 meters or whatever it is, but you may see tiles starting to the caulking in between or may start coming up, and the tiles might start getting loose. I was in a high-end building the other day, and that was it. Half the buildings in the hallway, in fact, were loose when you stepped on them. So.
Yeah, this time I've been here for a week, and I haven't noticed anything wrong. I don't have any complaints. And it'd be interesting to see how long it would take them to get something repaired, but again, I don't have any complaints at all.
Living on Mactan, you're close, being here, you're close to the ocean, and what types of course they're building this whole area up. You've got a grocery store down here. You're not very far away from malls, other things to do. One of the reasons I and different people did not move to Mactan, even though it's generally cheaper to live over here, is that it's not Cebu City. Cebu City has the big malls, and there are plans to build the newer, bigger malls over here, I think. And even just this area here, they're building it up. They're going to totally transform this whole area, Mactan Newtown, in the next couple of years. Well, they already have, basically. But are there any challenges to living here that you've seen?
Then again, I'm just visiting now. I still work, so I still go do a 9 to 5 in the States. I did attempt to lease it out one time, and it didn't work out too well, and it was nothing to do wrong with the tenant. She just had some issues, and it was kind of a shame. So I got a good property manager. I trust her a lot. That's the key too, is get somebody that you can trust. And she's gonna look around. My kids said, "Pop, why are you even gonna, they said, "I'll just keep it for yourself." But we'll see what happens. The market out here has done so well. Like I showed you on the text, it's probably gone up maybe 40 grand in the last 2 years. 40,000 American dollars.
U.S. Yeah. From 4.5 million to around 8 million,
right? Something
like that.
Yeah. So, and now they're going to build all the way down to the beach. It's all going to be a lagoon, and they're going to put in more shopping there. And you can see they're building this iPhone, or this, what do they call it? The Pearl. It's electronic home.
Oh, okay. Computer operated pretty much.
Alexa.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess they're going to put solar panels and have a whole iPhone or iHome. That's it. iHome.
All right.
iHome.
And you had mentioned, some people want to buy these for investment, to rent them out, resell eventually, whatever. You've been approached by a number of people about, there's a condo hotel down the street, CNS, I stopped in, and you said that they approached you about renting your unit.
Well, actually, they don't do that there. They do the 8 Newtown Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
But there's individuals that have condos in there that branch out.
Oh.
Most of this unit here is individuals. It's just an individually owned condo. But I've had people approach and want to do Airbnb. And give you a certain amount of money a month, and then they just take it from there. Not really my thing. I prefer to have somebody just live here long term if that's the case. But
what would something like this 1 bedroom, what would it rent for a month, you think, here?
Well, right now, because of what's happening in the world, there's not too many visitors. And again, for local people to pay the money, it's pretty expensive. But she was paying, I think it came up to be about $720 a month, American US dollars. And that's quite a bit of money for the locals out here. That's a lot of money. But like I said, she did her first, her last, and deposit, whatever it was, and then 1 month later, she had to leave.
Back to Manila.
Yeah.
And you've been, of course, Pogo's, the offshore gaming companies are big here, and they have a big effect on real estate. You've been approached by them also?
Not so much. The property manager that I deal with, she's been approached a lot, and they want to put more people in here to make it more affordable. And she was discouraged about that, so she says, "Do you really want to do that?" And I said, "Well, if you're asking me if I really want to do that, the answer is probably no."
Yeah. How many people would they? How many bunk beds would they put in there?
I think what the key was they wanted to put 4 bunk beds in here, get rid of that bed, and then have another one for storage or something.
Oh, okay. Closets and whatever. Huh?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and for a unit that's 40.5 square meters with 4 guys in here, I think that's just a little bit much.
Yeah,
it doesn't even sound safe.
Second place I lived, and I find it's actually quite common. They put contractors, construction workers who are dealing in the area, they'll rent a 22 square meter condo and put 4 beds in there. And they probably want their $16,000 a month, so they probably charge them, maybe they charge them $4,000 a piece a month to live there. And I met one guy that he worked at IT Park. In fact, he ended up moving to America, US. But he lived with 4 other guys. He didn't know them. They all worked at IT Park, different shifts. And I think he said $4,000 a month. So you get 16,000 in 22 square, just this part, not the bedroom, right? Not the kitchen. The kitchen is over here. So yeah, that's like dorm living, but that's what some people can afford.
Well, if the right person comes around, and they want to stay long term or whatever, that's fine. We can make a really good deal.
Yeah. All right. What other thoughts do you have about the whole process of buying?
I pretty much, with the experiences, I pretty much told you most of the bad things that happen and the things that you got to be careful with. But when it's all said and done, you're done.
No.
I mean, you just come and go as you please. Have whoever over you want. The pool is just amazing. They got a pool table. They got a massage area, which is kind of weird to me. Because if you want to go out in town and get a massage, what would they do? Say, "Hey, well, I'll come to your house and give you a massage in your own massage area." I don't know how that quite works. But they got a pool table room, like I said. They got a gym downstairs. Not too many people use that. So in reality, going to the beach once in a while is fine, but you don't have to leave. there's really no reason to leave. I mean, unless you want to go out to the other outskirts. But you know, like I said, they got everything down the street that you need, and maybe once a week go out in town. But
Yeah, how close is your closest mall?
I'd
Gaisano, Grand?
the SM Mall.
Oh, the SM over on
SM.
Cebu?
Yeah.
Okay, about 12 kilometers. Something like that.
Yeah.
10 kilometers. But you have many malls right here on Mactan, Gaisano, and you've got Robinson's.
Yeah, but if I need something from the mall, I just tell my property manager, hey, stop by and get me that.
Oh, really?
You should just get it.
Oh, what a deal.
Yeah.
Nice arrangement.
Yeah, she's just awesome. She just does everything for me. I mean, she's just amazing. I actually invited her to come today, but she's doing a movie. So she's doing some guy's shooting a movie, and she's going to be a nurse in the movie.
Okay.
So that sounded like a pretty.
Well, that's the other thing. No, if you're going to be not live on site or in the area, if you're going to use a property manager, their fees are usually what, 1 month?
Yeah, they charge about 10%.
10%?
And they usually will take it right off the top for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they do it here. They don't take the 10% monthly, they just take it right off the top.
Right.
But, you know, typically if somebody's moving in and they're putting, you know, good money down, they're hopefully committed to stay,
Right.
because that's an expensive
Right.
month.
Well, very good. Well, very good. Thank you very much for the interview. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.